Hey, welcome World Entertainment, and of course we now officially have the first teaser trailer, even though it's over 2 minutes long, for Supergirl. And of course the reaction to it is quite what you would expect it to be, where everyone who understands the universe and understands the character are calling it out, while everyone else who just wants an invite to the premiere are praising it. And we're really going to have to take a look and deep dive into this whole trailer, because yeah, it really just shows you the state of the superhero genre in total. Not just in DC, but across the board. And it really is just, it's run out of ideas. And to see people saying, oh, this is such a faithful adaptation. And it's like, no, it really isn't. Even though, yeah, there is a ton of different versions of Supergirl. Of course there is. But, unfortunately, the problem is they've gone ahead and gone with the comic book version from Tom King, which only came out in 2022. So it's not like they're going into the over 80-year or 50-year history of Supergirl. They've gone for the brand newest iteration of the character, the one that absolutely has not been well received, and they went, let's adapt that version. And it's like, really? That's the direction you want to go in? And of course, all you have to do is start looking at the typical people online, the shill accounts. Now, obviously, there are going to be people out there who generally like this trailer, and they will have videos up who generally like the trailer, and good on them, you know, if they like it and they're going to get something out of it, kudos to you. But we know who we're talking about when we say the shills. We know the people. I'll give you an example, because it just shows you that they are just basically digging for invites. Go watch. Yes, you will have to give them the view, but go watch Christian Harloff's trailer reaction. Because I did. Because I was curious, and it was like, I bet you he loves it. He has the most unenthusiastic love for this trailer. Literally, he turns it on. His facial expression, the tone in his voice, everything does not change. It's like watching Chris Stuckman. It really was. And there he is, like, oh yeah, this looks great, and blah, blah, blah. It's like, wow, you're really showing the enthusiasm to convince me that you're enjoying what you're seeing. And he says a couple of things that just shows you that he's basically mining for the invite, because he's watching the trailer and he flat out says, right, I never read a Supergirl comic book. I don't know the character at all. To then saying, this is such a faithful looking adaptation of the character. It's like, how would you know? But then he says the one thing where you truly realize you're full of shit, because he turns around and says, after the trailer, he goes, I really didn't like her introduction in Superman. I didn't particularly like the way her character was. But now I see the context with this movie, and it makes more sense to me, and I'm digging it now. It's like, really? So you're telling me that you didn't like the character that showed up in Superman, who's a drunken mess, but you're digging that you're going to be watching an entire movie with that character as that drunken mess? That makes absolutely zero sense. But I have noticed one thing, and I think it's quite interesting. The YouTube channel. Now, at this stage anyway, it's nowhere near being ratioed. It's doing incredibly well with the likes compared to dislikes. However, that may be because they're removing dislikes. And why do I say that? Because when I did the trailer reaction, I was looking through the comment section, and there was a lot, and I mean a lot, of negative comments. Like just ripping it, saying like, oh great, it is just another version of Star-Lord, just with long hair, and it's just Guardians again, it's a one-trick pony, all of that type of stuff. None of that's there now. I just went and had another look at the comment section, because I was going to pull a few of them and put them into the video to have a look at. They're gone. All those negative comments are gone. They're all positive comments all of a sudden. So if they're removing the positive or the negative comments, and then some of them aren't even negative, they're just kind of saying it just looks boring and stuff, just looks more the same, and why is it more Guardians, that type of stuff. The fact that they've removed them, well, that would scream to me that they've removed dislikes as well. So I don't know what way to look at the dislike ratio in this. But They're trying to get people pumped by showing you certain things like Lobo, even though it's a blink and you'll miss it moment. The point of that is, though, no normie is going to understand who Lobo is. So seeing that quick moment of Lobo in the movie, or I should say in the trailer, that's not getting any normie excited. They don't know who that is. You see him for a fraction of a minute. He's barely visible. He just looks like he's a part of all this other alien group that are surrounding Supergirl with the guns. So, like, you're not going to pick him out and just, ooh, that's Jason Momoa, that's Lobo. They're not going to know. So the fact that you've shoveled them in there makes no sense. The other thing, when you take a step back and actually look at the trailer and break it down, the comparison to the Superman trailer, it's like chalk and cheese. Because if you recall, when we went back to the Superman trailer, what did we get? Well, we got Superman, but surrounded by other characters. So the trailer was not solely focused on Superman. It was focused on Lois as well. It was focused on Lex Luthor. It was focused on Guy Gardner, Mr. Terrific, the Engineer, and Crypto, and all this stuff. This trailer is very much focused on Supergirl. And it's like, well, why aren't you shoveling all these different type of characters? And you're off-world, so you have even more opportunity to shovel other characters in here, and you didn't do that. Why? Why did you do that for Superman but not for this one? That's strange. Now, it's also being confirmed by James Gunn that this movie is off Earth. So it's not set on Earth, which raises the question I asked in my trailer reaction video, which was, if she's not on Earth, how the hell does she have a newspaper from the Daily Planet? That makes sense. So, plus, if you look at the paper, it's not just that Crypto pisses on the image of Superman, which everyone is looking at and going like, well, of course, yeah. It's what happens when you read the headline, because it says Superman saves a town from a nuclear reactor explosion. But then if you look down in the corner, the bottom right corner, for us on the screen, it's the bottom left corner on the paper, it says Supergirl rescues a cat. So they're really minimizing Supergirl. So it's going to be strange. Now, the other thing you have to understand, and this just shows you how wrong they get everything with this. They are thinking Supergirl is younger than Superman. That she's his younger niece. And they've said that. They've even come out and said, oh yeah, when they were talking about her with her appearance in Superman, they're like, oh yeah, you know, when we brought in his younger cousin and stuff. It's like, Supergirl's not younger than Kal-El. She's older. She's actually older. It's just she got stuck when the destruction of Krypton happened. She got stuck in like this time thing, and it took her longer to get to Earth. So he got to Earth as a baby and grew up. She didn't. She got stuck as the age she was. So when she arrived, she was still pretty much a teenager. And of course, we can hear in this that she's meant to be 22, because she's saying, you know, I'm turning 23 and we'll make that the best year ever and blah, blah, blah. So they clearly don't have an actual understanding of the character of Supergirl, because they think she's younger than Superman. He's not. They're adapting a comic book that was not well received, and of course only came out in 2022. So for everybody that's going, no, you can't complain about this because they've actually adapted faithfully a comic book, it's like, yeah. And out of all the comic books that Supergirl has had, you've gone for the brand newest version of Supergirl, which is the Tom King run. Everything about this just looks like it's going to be a disaster. And the fact that the negative comments have been removed from YouTube, that's quite telling, because if they're doing that, then they must be removing dislikes. Which, why? You know, if it gets ratioed, it gets ratioed. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Let it be there and let it be known, because the one thing they're not going to hide is box office results. Now, we already know, and this is according to Warner Brothers themselves, that the movie's budget is about 200 million. It probably cost over that. And we will get to see those numbers because they filmed it in the UK. But overall, the trailer it's not a good trailer. And the fact that everyone is calling it out for just being another Guardians of the Galaxy, which is hilarious because, again, this is not James Gunn. He didn't direct this movie. He didn't write this movie. However, we did find out that he did go to the set and he did actually take over a few scenes, which I've spoken about before. But the fact that, then you're looking at this trailer, you're like, well, how much did he actually take over? How much of this is his notes? Because how can you have the most James Gunn looking movie that supposedly has nothing to do with James Gunn? I don't know. It's crazy. But what do you guys think of all of this? Did you notice that the negative reactions have kind of vanished all of a sudden? Did you look at any of the comments? Let me know what you think about this. And of course, what did you think of the trailer and all? And have you gone back and looked at the trailer again? Maybe it's grown on you. Maybe you started off liking it and you now dislike it. Let me know. And with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So do like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and hit the hype button and check out memberships. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.